trade and debrief. Covered a lot of ground, folks. Covered our October surprise. We covered getting bearish on MGM and the casino stocks in general. We'll cover why in a couple minutes. And also, we took a look at a bear call spread. I sent out a trade alert, a bear call spread out to next Friday on MGM. Also talked about Twitter and the FAANGs and just how tech sucks now. We led, though, make sure, folks, we talked about in our full throttle session the other night, Tuesday night. Tonight is full throttle session number 2 at 7 p.m. So if you're a full throttle member, you can go ahead and you'll get a link an hour prior at 6 o'clock. If you'd like to join our full throttle, just the academics only for 8 sessions, it's only $195. You can shoot an email to support@topgunoptions.com and we'll hook you up. But we talked about potentially ways, because we were talking about commissions and stuff like that and things I don't get to talk about, but I just want maybe Google or take a look at this Investopedia link, benefits abound for active traders who incorporate. So obviously trading, you know, any income you make from trading is considered what? Unearned or passive income. There are, I'm not going to say there are ways around it. There's a way to fix that. You don't want to say way around anything when you're talking about the IRS. But I'll leave it at that. Pretty surreal press conference yesterday with Rex Tillerson, red-faced, having to come out and knock down swamp stories. Of course, the liberal media, folks, is doing this. They just like throwing hand grenades around and making these guys chase their tails. Secretary of State wasn't going to dignify that. He said, I've never considered resigning, never once. And, of course, NBC, you know, the leader of fake news, when the president denies something and the Secretary of State denies something, they stick with their story with 3 unnamed sources. 3 drunk 28-year-olds high on coke and Red Bull in a Washington bar suffice as an unnamed source. But when the 2 principals in the story deny it, NBC sticks with it. Thank you for ensuring Trump's going to win re-election because of this type of crap. North Korea is still on the front burner. I'm still talking about this as an October surprise, even though China's trying to shut down North Korean connected businesses and really sit on their crazy nephew there. Tax reform. This is going to be ugly, folks. We're going to see how they make the sausage, and it's going to get rough. I mean, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer immediately came out with their standard talking points about how it's a tax cut for the rich. Trump could have given every poor person in this country $1 quadrillion, and they still would have said it's a tax cut for the rich. Can't stand it. Can't stand any of those people. What could go possibly wrong with tax reform? The answer, everything. We already seen the Republican clown car that couldn't they vote to repeal Obamacare 60+ times under Obama, 0 under a Republican. You can't make this stuff up, folks. The best Democrats in Washington are currently Republicans. It's awful. So if tax cuts and tax reforms don't happen, you can kiss this thing go by. This looks like that one game on The Price is Right, you know, the mountain climber, when he yodels all the way up, and then if you get the price wrong, he falls off. If you get tax reform wrong, we're going to fall off here, Mr. President. So be very, very careful. We've talked all week about how the macroeconomic data, we'll get the jobs number tomorrow, non-farm payroll for September, but here's the hard data. There's the market whistling past the graveyard. S&P, you know, potential nuclear war. We got, you know, a Las Vegas attack. We got just, you know, Iran getting nuclear weapons. A lot of potential bad in the world getting ready to get in earnings season. S&P 500 aims for longest streak of record highs in 20 years. Man, you can't make this up. Look at that. We talked today about getting bearish. We looked at a bear call spread on MGM out the next Friday. Make sure you watch the replay if you remember. This is the end of Las Vegas as we know it. If I'm not that I know personally about this, but if somebody I know was checking into a hotel in Vegas and they had to search my bag, I probably wouldn't be going to Vegas. Vegas is supposed to be 95 to 100% full this time of year. They're at 85. Last thing I heard this morning was 80% occupancy. This is a 9/11 event for Vegas. I know Wynn or somebody got an upgrade today or whatever. And, you know, Steve Wynn, great American, love the guy, met him a couple times. I used to refuel his jet when I worked my way through high school and college at Atlantic City International Airport when he'd fly into to his properties. Great American guys. But here's MGM. There's the implosion. They own Mandalay Bay as well. There's the implosion. This cat didn't even bounce, folks. We didn't even get half the implosion back. That is a bearish technical indicator right there, aside from just using the anecdotal, okay, now we're doing bag searches and all sorts of other stuff. It's just not. It's not bullish. I get folks can upgrade them to be patriotic. I get Steve Wynn could buy back just about every share in his company and boost the stock price. That only goes on for so long, folks. Earnings, next quarter earnings, will be impacted by this tragedy, period. Wearing my flight suit, I'm brokenhearted. It sucks. Who wants to make money off of this? Gordon Gekko does. So I put on my Armani suit and go, greed's good, bearish on these stocks because of the attack. That's how you got to make money, folks. I'm done with the text for now. The EU, $300 million fine against Amazon. Now, I know Jeff Bezos can find that in his couch, but still, Amazon, Apple starting to tell their nations to start collecting tax. This was under Obama, folks, the limousine liberals in Cupertino and out in Stanford with their sweaters and their Chardonnay in front of their fireplace. Hey, man, we were making money hand over fist. Now governments are waking up to, you know what? What did Reagan say? If it moves, tax it. If it's something, regulate it. Whatever. I don't know, man. Techs are freaking me out. News today. I led this news a year ago, folks. I beat this a year ago. I saw the story. I dug it up, man. I got buddies at FedEx, and I flew for FedEx for 10 months. What was it? About a year ago, Jeff Bezos leased 5 of his own cargo airplanes. I'm like, that's it. He's doing the Rockefeller or the Carnegie. Whichever guy said, why do I just own the oil wells? Why don't I own the railroads, the lumber, the iron that builds the own everything? Jeff Bezos has to sit there and say, why am I paying FedEx and UPS for shipping when I can either buy one of those or build my own? So out of all of them, obviously Amazon's the 300-pound gorilla in the room. But I got to be honest with you, when Trump was a candidate and Jeff Bezos sits on stage and says, Trump, what a clown, I'd put him in one of my rockets and blast him into space. That's when Trump goes, hey, Moose, Rocco, help Mr. Bezos find us antitrust lawyers. So that I'm really souring on the text, folks. Facebook bending over backwards now to be patriotic. 10 million people saw Russia-bought political ads. I don't think I've clicked on an ad ever in the history since Al Gore invented the internet. Never have clicked on an ad. But somehow liberals and Democrats are going to tell me that 10 million people who saw Russia-bought political ads became Russian robots and voted for Trump. Folks, first of all, they weren't pushing one way or the other. The Russians just like sowing chaos in our political system. I saw the movie American Made last night with Tom Cruise. You want to talk about a government that gets involved in other countries' elections? You're looking at it. Anybody remember Iran-Contra, the Sandinistas, Nicaragua, all those guys, the Panama, General Noriega? We get involved in elections all the time and try and throw our weight around. Anybody remember a little party called Vietnam, for Christ's sake? Stop the spread of capitalism, North Vietnam. Folks, who are we to throw stones about getting involved in other people's elections? We've been doing it for 200-plus years. But now it's a big deal, right? For God's sake. And nobody gives a crap about the millions of illegal immigrants that voted, right? Yeah, no, let's avoid that, Wiz. I just can't. We talked Twitter as well in the brief today. I'm done. Twitter's been a joke forever. I think they are literally destroying their model. If they're testing the 280 character thing right now, up from 140, that'll be the death of Twitter. It was $1.40, and now the CEO. Good article in the Journal about how it's over with Twitter with doing this. Jobs number tomorrow. I tend to look at average hourly earnings as the most important thing, not necessarily we know it's going to stink. We had 2 hurricanes, disasters. It's going to be a weak jobs number. For those of you who are in the Apple Iron Condor, I sent out a text alert to close the bull put spread for a nice, 80, 85%, $1,700 gain since Monday. The bear call spread I'd hang on to because Apple tends to slide into the close on a Friday, and we had a kind of pop at the open, and the pin risk is obviously for tomorrow at 155, but I'd be hanging. There's exceptions to every wizism. Apple tends to slide into the close on a Friday. It very rarely catches a bid. I have seen Fridays where it catches a bid, but I'd be hanging on to the bear call spread for now. It's a lucky strike moment. Grab one of those filterless cigarettes and enjoy the ride. Okay? I'll be back. Well, I don't know, man. What time's my flight? I'm on like an 8 a.m. flight out of Miami. And out to San Francisco, although I land out there at around noon. Might not have a Friday market wrap-up tomorrow. Keep an eye on the jobs number. If I can knock one out, it's a 6-hour flight, I think, out to San Fran from Miami direct. if not, I'm still alive, and maybe I'll check in when I land out in the beautiful Bay Area. Looking forward to it. I might even bump into a couple, trying to set up some meetings with some TGO members if I can work around the client. Okay, so have a great rest of your day, guys. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and I'll see many of you tonight at 7 for Full Throttle Session 2.